Hey there, so out of a whole bunch of VPNs, over a dozen of the best ones, I've narrowed it down to Express, Nord, and Surfshark. And so I'm going to compare these three and try to narrow it down to a single choice that should hopefully fit your situation and your needs and everything that has to do with VPNs, basically. Let's just get straight into it. So we've got Express, Nord, and Surfshark. Now, I've tested, again, a bunch, including CyberGhost, including PIA, Private VPN, Astral VPN, Viper VPN, and a bunch of other of the highest rated VPNs out there. And honestly, as far as VPN tasks, let's say streaming, and you can use a VPN for streaming if you want to, let's say, get access to a streaming library that's not available to you. So say you're outside the States, you might notice that your Netflix library or Amazon Prime Video library is a little bit different. And that's because streaming services usually do that due to some licensing agreements here and there. So what's available while you're in the States may not be available while you're physically outside the States. And so what you can do with one of these VPNs, or any of these VPNs for that matter, is simply connect to an American server, and then you can go to Netflix or Amazon Prime Video, and it will interpret as if you're in the States yourself, and that will give you access to, in this situation, for example, your streaming content from back home. So any of these VPNs will work with streaming. Any of them will also support torrenting if you're into torrenting, and they also work great for gaming. So if you're into gaming, they have a lot of locations, 105 countries with Express, 111 with NordVPN, and 100 countries with Surfshark. So no matter your location, you'll be able to find a location or a server that is close to the gaming server that you're looking to connect to in order to maintain low ping or play on a more stable server, or even get access to games that may not be available to you in the first place for whatever reason. So yeah, they do work for streaming, torrenting, gaming, and overall they perform incredibly well. But when it comes to VPNs, there's one thing that I like to compare, and that is typically the deciding factor. And that's not only the privacy policy, because most VPNs will claim a bunch of things and say that, you know, there are no logs VPN. And then when you look into their privacy policy, you'll see that they might be collecting a few pieces of data that you might not want them to collect. And you see this in most VPNs out there that claim that they're 100% log free. So if we take a look here, you'll notice that we have independent audits. And what an audit is in this specific context is when an auditing company like one of the big three, such as PricewaterhouseCoopers, you also have Cure 53, KPMG, Deloitte is also one of the biggest ones out there. And this is when these companies essentially certify, in this situation, a VPN service to make sure that they're upholding their privacy policy and their no logs claims, and that they have a server infrastructure that's also healthy and works well so that it's, you know, functional and private and everything. So these three VPNs, of course, are no strangers to these certifications, which is why I picked them. Now, the reason why I would go with Express out of any of them is because they've had 12 audits within just a year, and overall about 17 or more audits at this point. This is much more than any other VPN out there. Arguably, this is the most audited VPN. So just by virtue of how transparent they are and how willing they are to constantly audit their services, this is definitely a huge plus in my book. And not just for that reason, but even in the real life situation when an ExpressVPN server was seized by the Turkish authorities in 2017, they were still unable to access any activity logs that would link them to a specific user. As you can tell right here, we were unable to see which customers accessed Gmail or Facebook during the time in question, as we do not keep any activity logs. And this is back in 2017. So at this point, ExpressVPN is definitely much more secure. If it was secure back then I'm pretty sure it has no problems with security at this point, and the constant audits certainly prove that. And again, NordVPN and Surfshark are definitely no strangers to frequent audits, but just not as much as ExpressVPN. And certainly they've never been tested in a real life situation like that. This is basically the deciding factor for me. So again, independent audit reports that prove that the VPN upholds their no logs policy is basically the deciding factor. So no matter which VPN you go for, you can be sure that you're using a safe VPN that won't share your information. So that's why I chose these VPNs. Now, as far as which one could be the best choice for you, well, this is where, again, for me specifically, I like to go with Express. It's very simple, very straightforward. It acts like it's part of the computer itself. It barely uses my RAM or CPU. And when I launch all these VPNs together, ExpressVPN is always the one to start up first. So I just love the snappiness of Express. Now, it doesn't really have the features that you might be finding in other VPNs. So you just have an ad blocker, an easy way to block adult content if you have kids in the house. It's very accessible, parental control, essentially. And you have an ad blocker and whatnot. And that's basically it. You know, you've got the kill switch and split tunneling. If you're not familiar with what those do, the kill switch is going to make sure that you're only going to be connected to the internet while you're secured by the VPN tunnel. So in case you, for whatever reason, get disconnected from the VPN, you don't just connect back to your original network, you get disconnected from the internet, so that just in case you lose that connection between you and your VPN, none of your data will be exposed to your ISP or anybody else that's trying to intercept your connection or find out what you're doing online. Okay, so that's what the kill switch is, and it's also available in Nord and Surfshark. Now, split tunneling will allow you to choose which application. I'm gonna have to turn off the VPN to show you split tunneling. This is gonna allow you to choose which applications are routed through the VPN and which are not. So for example, if I want only my Google Chrome to use the VPN tunnel and click OK here and turn on the VPN, then only Google Chrome, that application, will be affected by the VPN. As you can tell, it says only allow the selected app to use the VPN, and none of my other applications will be affected by the VPN as a result of this split tunneling going on. You can also do it the other way around. And so it's a very useful feature. I know a lot of people may not really bother with it, and you'll just use the VPN whenever you need it and turn it off when you don't need it. But this can actually come in handy in a lot of situations. For example, if I want to just watch Netflix and I don't want my Steam or let's say my browser to be affected by the VPN, I can just have the VPN affect my Netflix application and nothing else. And this can be, again, very useful in a handful of situations. Or let's say if I want to download anything through my torrenting client, but I don't want anything else to be affected by the VPN. Again, this is something that I actually find very useful because you never want to expose your information while torrenting, of course, but a lot of times I don't want the rest of my connection to be affected by the VPN. Now, again, all these features are available in all three VPNs, but what's unique about NordVPN is that you get a bunch of bonus features that can be incredibly useful. One of the most useful features, which is definitely my favorite way to transfer files between my computer and phone back and forth. It's just so quick, so seamless, and of course it's all happening over the encrypted network of NordVPN. So this is one of the easiest, fastest, and safest ways to transfer data between your devices, and again, it's incredibly seamless. I love that about Nord. You also have a little bit of a mini antivirus going on here, so I really like that as well. Dark Web Monitor is just an extra feature that keeps an eye out for leaked data, and that's basically it. What I like about Nord though is that it's got this Nord Links protocol, and this allows Nord to arguably be the fastest VPN out there. So that's also another reason. So you've got really high performance and security and a bunch of features, making NordVPN one of the best choices out there. In fact, I'm pretty sure at this point NordVPN might be the most popular one because, again, it's giving you a lot of features for a very reasonable price. Now, it can be sometimes just a little bit clunky with the map and everything, but you do have the option to just search through here, and guess what? once you bring up the list, you've got a bunch of specialty servers, which can also be very useful in a handful of situations. For example, if you connect to an Onion over VPN server, that will allow you to access the Onion websites without having to download the special dark web browser, which is the Tor browser. So this is just one of the features. Again, if you'd like more information, even more on NordVPN, I'll leave individual reviews to these VPNs in the description below. But as far as how much value you're getting, again, just to give you a quick recommendation, NordVPN is an easily strong recommendation right after ExpressVPN. Me personally, I prefer the simplicity of Express. It just gets the job done, and I don't need any more than that. Because as far as an antivirus, I do have a separate antivirus application, so I don't need threat protection, but I definitely use file transfer, and you can tell that I've been using this, and I definitely use this quite a bit with NordVPN here. So if I don't activate, like if I don't turn on NordVPN and I'm using Express, I'm still using Nord just because of the file transfer. And by the way, I believe MeshNet and file transfer is still free, so you can still download Nord and use the file transfer or MeshNet. It's part of MeshNet essentially. It allows you to share more than just files, but you know, one of the uses of MeshNet is file transfer, and it's my main way, again, to transfer files between my computer and phone. Now, finally, Surfshark is going to be the best budget option that gets the job done at the cheapest possible cost without sacrificing much of the quality or speed or performance or features that you get with more expensive VPNs. And with Surfshark, you're getting so much, in fact, that even if you go for the one plan, which is a stage above the standard plan, it's still going to cost less than the standard plan of Nord, but you'll be getting a fully fledged antivirus as well as a VPN and a bunch of other features that will help contribute to your privacy and online security. So that'll be for this video. Hopefully I've been able to help you guys decide which one could be the best choice for you. Just to give you a quick recap, ExpressVPN is going to be the best choice if you're looking for something that is very reliable, very easy to use, and it just gets the job done incredibly quickly, very snappy, barely uses your CPU or RAM. It just feels like it's part of the computer, and it's just never ever clunky. NordVPN could be a little bit clunky with the map, but for what you're getting, Nord is just one of the best choices, if not hands down, the best value option that you can get out there. But speaking of value, if you want as much value, if not arguably even more, you can get that with Surfshark, because this is definitely the best budget option that you'll find out there without losing out on quality or features. Although the speeds might just be a little bit slower than Nord and Express, but it's definitely nothing deal breaking. It's probably about 5 or 10% slower at times than Express and Nord, but it's still very quick. So if you're looking for a budget option, Surfshark is your definite choice here. So that'll be it for this video. Again, I'll leave all the links in the description down below if you'd like to check any of those out. And also be sure to leave the best discounts that I can find in the description so that you can hopefully save a little bit more money on your first subscription with any of those VPNs. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.